support. The U.S. President Donald Trump has escalated the federal response to protests in Los Angeles, deploying another 2,000 National Guard troops and 700 U.S. Marines. The move comes despite opposition from California's Democratic leaders. Governor Gavin Newsom called the deployment deranged and un-American, warning that Trump is using the military to intimidate Americans on their U.S. soil. Trump blamed what he called insurrectionists for violence in Los Angeles and praised his decision to send in troops. He later suggested he'd support the arrest of Governor Newsom for obstructing immigration enforcement. Here's what Trump has said.
He's daring Tom Homing to come and arrest him. Should he do it? I would do it because I think it's right. Of course, Gavin likes the publicity, but I think it's a great thing. He's done a terrible job. Look, I like Gavin Newsom. He's a nice guy, but he's grossly incompetent. Everybody knows. All you have to do is look at the little railroad he's building. It's about 100 times over budget. We're putting a flagpole over there. Under budget. I always do under budget.
Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass condemned the federal raids that triggered the unrest. She urged the Trump administration to stop the raids and respect state authority. Here's what the California mayor has said.
Stop the raids, period. I would say give the power back to our governor, and if we need the National Guard, we can do it in their normal circumstances, which is the request is made local and the governor decides or not to grant that to our city.
The UN has expressed concern over the situation, urging all sides to avoid further militarization and calling for calm, stability, and restraint across all levels of government. Here's what the UN spokesperson has said.
We certainly hope that all parties on the ground will de-escalate the situation. We do not want to see any further militarization of this situation, and we encourage the parties at the local, state, and federal levels to work to do that.
Is President Trump sending National Guards considered militarization?
I think you are aware of what the situation on the ground is, and what we want is to see a de-escalation.
Protests broke out after ICE agents detained dozens across Los Angeles last week, while demonstrations have since calmed. Officials say the federal troop presence is straining local agencies. California has filed a lawsuit against the federal government, calling the deployment unconstitutional. Australia's Prime Minister Anthony Albanese has condemned the shooting of reporter Lauren Tomasi in Los Angeles. He called the footage horrific and said she was clearly identified as media. Albanese confirmed his government has raised the incident with U.S. officials, calling it unacceptable. Here's what the Australian Prime Minister Albanese has commented. Meanwhile, Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum has urged the U.S. to follow due process in migration cases. She also condemned violent protests, warning that burning police vehicles was provocation, not resistance. She urged Mexicans to remain peaceful. Here's what the Mexican president has said.
No estamos de acuerdo con las acciones violentas como forma de protesta. La quema de patrullas parece más un acto de provocación que de resistencia. Debe quedar claro, condenamos la violencia, venga de donde venga. Llamamos a la comunidad mexicana a actuar de manera pacífica y no caer en provocaciones.
Russia has launched another massive drone strike on Ukraine just a day after its biggest attack yet. In the latest onslaught, 2 people were killed in Odessa and a maternity ward was damaged. In Kyiv, drones struck 7 out of 10 districts, setting off fires and injuring at least 4 people. The overnight raid lasted 5 hours with air raid sirens ringing until dawn. City officials say residential areas, civilian infrastructure, and open spaces were targeted. Ukrainian presidential aide Andriy Yermak said terror can't break Ukrainians. Foreign Minister Sibiha called for tougher sanctions and urgent air defense support. In Odessa, drones hit a medical facility, including a maternity hospital. 9 people were hurt and staff were evacuated. Moscow says these strikes are retaliation for Ukraine's recent attacks on Russian air bases and bridges. While peace talks have resumed after years, progress remains elusive, with ground fighting also escalating in eastern Ukraine.